Does my smile confuse you? Or remind you you're here?
Welcome to another chapter of Does My Smile Confuse You? Thank you. That is Rain, as usual, my partner in crime, who is every week coming out of the closet, as it were, and speaking more and more. However, she will not, she just informed me, participate in this particular show. And the reason is the title of today's show is You're Not My Type. Okay? Now, I'm sure every guy in the world has heard, you're not my type. In fact, probably every female has heard the same thing, you're not my type. So I learned after, being hurt a couple times and taking it personally, I learned to respond, as we talk about on this show, that humor, comic sense, which I'll define in a moment, is so valuable that I learned to respond with things like, you're not my type. Well, I'm not even my own type. Okay. So this broke the tension, it broke the ice. It actually, in my long career of dating, it actually won over a few women with a line like that or something, but it was totally spontaneous. And then, of course, what was originally spontaneous becomes a line. So I'm not even my own type became a line. And I want to, before I introduce my part-time other partner in crime, Dimitri, better known originally as Jimmy the Greek. I want to remind everybody, because repetition is very important. Hitler used it, the president used it, all smart people use it. They keep repeating things until it gets so into your head that you can't get it out of your head. So I want you to remember this. Comic sense is ironically the closest thing we have to common sense. And humor is the core of comic sense, and humor is always searching for the truth. So this show, I hope, is unique because we're trying to push, sell. We're like drug dealers. I think humor is, I think comic sense and humor are the ultimate natural drugs we have. So it's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. So now I'm going to let Dimitri, because he chose basically the subject of today's show. So I'm going to let him now share what we're going to talk about, since I have no idea. So surprise me.
So, 1 second, let me light up.
Light up. He's always got to light up. I hate cigarettes, for our few listeners that don't know. No, thank you very much. He's offering me a cigarette. I've never smoked a
So
day
the
in my
most,
life. Can't even smoke weed. Tragically. Yeah. All right. When you're done coughing from smoking, he's got cancer, leukemia, his lungs are collapsing, but he's never going to give it up. Oh yeah, wash it down with a little wine he's not supposed to drink.
so the most original,
Okay.
extraordinary, divine, out of this world, you're not my type, I was set up with a date with this Hollywood woman.
With a Hollywood woman?
With a Hollywood producer, this and that. So
It is Oscar night, so yeah.
I take her to an iconic place. She says, she was there before. Of course, I was dressed up with my suit and everything. She says, I'm early. I said, it's okay, you know. The manager comes in, gives us the best table at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She's thinking, she says, I have to fly away. I can only have an hour. I said, fine. 3 hours later, she's still there, right? And she was very, very polite and proper and this and that. The evening ends. And then she calls the friend that
She called a
sets
friend.
that up, and the friend calls me and she said, her issue is that she can't believe that men like you are for real. And I said, what do you mean? She says, you open up the door, you got up every time she went to the restroom, you took care of the bill, you're always polite.
Excuse
never
me,
disrespectful.
you were a gentleman?
Yes,
Because
yes.
most of the world doesn't understand
Exactly.
what that
So
means.
her issue was that can be real. He must have an issue. He must be after my money. And I laughed so hard that
She
night.
says he's a Hollywood producer, you're after.
And I laughed so hard that night. And it just tells you that was an extreme for me. If you go out on a date and you're selfish and you talk about yourself all the time, and you're an asshole and you're rude and you're condescending and you make fun of other people, I understand that. But when you're nice, intelligent, make conversations, but also very, very polite, and you are always ahead.
So we talked about this before briefly, but do you think the young men of today, do you think that they have the potential to become, in our society, the way it's set up today, gentlemen once again, chivalry, all those things, opening the door? Because the last time we spoke about this, you had no faith whatsoever in them ever becoming gentlemen.
No, I don't think they can do it. And I have to say, the reason that I had this experience that I had with that date was because the young man, I mean younger than me and you,
Yeah, exactly.
they're ignorant, they're into themselves.
That's true.
They're very successful financially, but their emotional IQ is zero. Their manners are zero. So the way they're behaving at restaurants or clubs, the way they dress, the way that they show up. There's a beautiful place here in LA, the Jazz Club, the Cipriani Jazz Club, and I see these young men showing up wearing t-shirts, being rude. They're walking ahead of their girlfriends, like we're back in the medieval times.
Yeah.
They don't get up when they go to the restroom. So this is what the society looks right now. Even East Coast, New York City used to be so proper, so respectful. New York is changing.
Oh, it's changed dramatically. Anthony Bourdain used to talk about it. But when you're out, especially at Cipriana's, that one time I went with you, I noticed that we always dress up elegantly. You're very dapper. But there were a lot of other people, which I liked about being in that room, dressed up. They looked rather nice. I mean, there were
Yes.
nice suits.
Yes.
So that room was very impressive. It was too crowded, too loud, but nevertheless, and the music was unbelievable. So see, look, I say this pretty much on every show. I have too much faith in people because tragically, I said on last week's show, I miss everyone. I miss all of my friends. I was talking about my 4 friends just to someone, and I'll mention their names. I don't have to give their last names, but it was John, Blake, Chris, and Brendan. They're 4 guys, very different, all good looking, all with a sense of humor, wit, very different though. And this is why it's hard what we're selling, but everybody does have a different sense of humor. In other words, understanding and reacting, or as we always say, responding. So my response to "you're not my type," well, I'm not even my own type. It broke the ice and the tension for me, because the first few times I heard that, and it was hurtful. So people don't want to be laughed at, and they don't want to be crushed. So I think these guys that come on today with that obnoxious story I told about that guy at Mastro's, about his opening line was, "You got a great ass?"
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I
that's it.
had to cover for him by saying, "Oh wow, that's so brilliant." I
That's
was
so
going to say
embarrassing.
the same
That's
thing
so
to her. No, really, because it's just to be out because we are older, and I was raised to be a gentleman in class and open a door. There was a great movie, if you haven't seen it, our little audience. It's called The Bronx Tale with Robert De Niro and Paul Chasmet. How do you say his name? Anyhow, he's great. He plays the villain, the other actor, and De Niro plays a bus driver, and his son is kind of attracted to this mob guy that's on their block, and he's only a 13, 14-year-old kid. And the movie is great because I perhaps told the story, but it bears repeating. In the movie The Bronx Tale, which De Niro directed, by the way, there's a great scene in the old cars where you could pull up the latch to open the door for people. They didn't have power door locks, okay? It was an older car, very, very cool old Cadillac. And so this young man, De Niro's son, who Chaz, the bad guy, but he's really a pretty good guy, he's telling the kid that's going out on the date, "I'm going to give you my car to drive." He's not even old enough. He said, "You take her out in my Cadillac," and it was very impressive. In New York, it was in like the Bronx or something, you know. So it was a very stylish car, and he picks up the girl, and the crime boss, Paul, is telling him in the movie, if the girl, you get the door for her, she gets in. If she reaches open as you walk around to get in the driver's side, if she reaches over and opens the latch, that's
She's
the
the
girl.
one.
That's the girl for you. So, you know, this is why we're going to start using film clips. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, since I've been separated years ago, I met a lot of different women, and here is what the word I would like to use, and no offense to all these beautiful, sophisticated women over there, is there's a lot of predators out there.
Prejudice.
Predators.
Oh,
Predatory.
predators.
So you meet a beautiful woman, and there was one that she even visited my farm, and then I said, let's set up a vacation. And a few days before our trip, she called. She says, "Can you take me over to their Hermes store and the Chanel store and this store and that store? I need to get some stuff." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" Yeah, that's a shocker, right?
This is the initial meeting?
No, this is after we met and before.
Well, how long a period of time? I mean,
I don't know, a couple of months when she realized we were going to a trip, and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not, I'm just, I'm not married to you, I'm not engaged to you." So as a man, because I want to take the other side, you meet a beautiful woman, or a beautiful woman meets a handsome and responsible man. It's very difficult nowadays, and if I was young, I'm in my 60s, to be able to reach somebody. When, in my day or time, you meet a girl, the minute she says, "Oh, I love your glasses," or "I love your hair," "I love the way you dress up," instead of saying, "I love you," she says that, which is very polite, and men do the same thing. This is how you connect. Nowadays, regardless what they say, some of the women, and I'm not stereotyping, is how much money you have. Can you take care of me? Can you take me shopping? Can you do this? Can you do that? And that puts a pause on a lot of men, including me, because after my last relationship, I went out with a lot of girls, and regardless if they were attracted or not, my number one criteria was, I just don't want to end up with a predator.
you don't want to end up being a predator?
End up with a predator, with a woman that all she cares
So
is
you're
about
talking
your
about a
finance.
female predator, not male or
no,
both?
Not male. Female.
Female
all she
predator.
cares is about being taken care of financially, which I don't blame them. Every woman wants to be taken care of, but or maybe that's an insecurity of mine or insecurity of
No.
mine.
Throughout history, primary security, number one for a woman, even if they don't talk about it. That's number one. Number two is the child. It's in their DNA, even if they don't talk about it. Sure, the world is changing and those two may deviate a little bit, not security. Security is, and a lot of women don't even look for it because they're not even smart enough to look for it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's a way to, I believe, to be attracted to somebody and qualify them a lot better. And I even hate using that term, qualify, because I am, at the end of the day, tragically, a romantic. That immediately makes me like the fool I've always declared I'm the biggest fool that ever lived. Only a fool would believe in love. Love is a disease, it's a sickness. There is no such thing as love, romantic love. You could think that way, but I don't think that way, even though I know as a curmudgeon part-time, it's true. There is no romantic love, it's stupid. It's like when I'm kissing Rain, my lady.
Okay.
I'm laughing because she always wants to start. It's not just, I can't give her, excuse me, a simple kiss. When she kisses me, things are going to happen. She's always going to close the deal, and it's hysterical. And so what do? I start laughing. You know, my whole thing is comic sense.
Oh my
and
God.
she knows that. It was terrible. It's terrible. But I mean, she understands. 3 years now we're into this relationship, so it's really comical. But last week, and I have friends, when you're not here to do the show, Tony, he's 31, so I have so many young friends that are in their 30s, even late 20s, because I've cut through all these generations because of who I am and my interest in people in general. But I do know incredibly great. I could go down Max if Rain were here. Max, you met Max, you know, with the car. Yeah. He's like 35. He just got married. So he's a romantic, and he's got everything going for him. You know, I mean, he's got all the props, he's got all the toys. And by the way, since we're talking about romantic, how stupid are people like the 100, 200,000 rich people, great athletes like Tiger Woods? Why would you ever get married if you're Tiger Woods? Did he fall in love with this girl that he went through hell, crashed his car, got drunk, had kids with? So we all go down these roads for what? Is that romance? I mean, are we all out of our mind? Or is there something to our heart and soul and a real connection?
It's pure love to begin with, but then a lot of us don't want to be alone. And then we
There's
don't want
that
to start
too.
over again. And that's me. And
But Tiger Woods is 28 at the time, 30, I don't know what he was. He's got everything in the world. He doesn't have to worry. He can take his
but
time.
we think he's got everything in the world.
Well, obviously exactly. So there it is.
Maybe he did not have the one thing that he really wanted.
There
So,
has to be something along those lines.
and I'll tell you, I'll change it because I'm in the healthcare, and I see families that are coming with children in my office. They don't have much. They have minimum.
Right.
And these people are so happy. They're so in love with each other. They're so in love with their children. And I look at them and I say, I would give everything I have just to have this feeling.
That's
You
really
understand?
sad. I mean, it's sad, and I love you, and we talk about it all the time. So, but I mean, well, let's take it all up. I hate the term Epstein-Barr, that disease. So we were talking about, because Rain wanted
We'll
to
talk
talk
about
about
the
it.
other day. Yeah.
Well, we have to talk about it.
We all have an Epstein-Barr in our system.
So you're saying these people, like I told you, Cuba and all these third world countries, they're so happy to play, splashing in the water, making $2 a day. So let's cut to the upper echelon. They're so fucking bored. They're really eating babies and children and making sausages and
I don't know
pizza.
if I don't
I
know
mean, come on.
any of
I'm
that
not
shit.
going down that road. I can't believe that.
No, I don't know. I don't know if this is.
I don't know how insane we are. I know we're
This
all
is like
cannibals.
Pulp Fiction, but you know, if if you're so bored, you just get another girlfriend or get a harem like King Solomon. He had 1,000 women.
I mean, I've been around. Come on, you and I, we've been around billionaires. They've taken me out and dragged me around because of my personality or whatever.
And you know why they take people like us around? Because they're so lonely. They want their entourage.
It's the saddest thing in the whole world.
They are so lonely.
They use me. I said, I'm not your pimp because I have this personality and I'm real and I like talking to people. I enjoy them. You're not going to use me to go pimp. I won't mention names in this instance, but I had the biggest stars both in sports and movies. I was their dear friend because I was their jester. I told them the truth. Sometimes they didn't like it. A lot of their egos were so big, but every great egomaniac needs that. Imagine Trump with a jester telling him the truth. He couldn't handle it. He'd fire him.
I wish, you know, Donald has some qualities and has some inequalities. And I wish somebody tell him sometimes to, Donald, your head, shut the fuck up.
Oh.
Just don't talk anymore.
I mean, if he
don't
could
talk.
only take, look, we
Don't
talk
talk.
about it.
And be respectful to women, for God's sake. Be respectful to women.
We have our ABCs, okay? We have comedy, we have criticism, and we have clarity. So without criticism, all great comics, that's what I was going to do on the show. I'll do it next week or whatever.
Go ahead.
Well, no, but
Criticize
you have to,
me. Let's start about that. Criticize
No,
me.
well, we are going to talk about it, but indirectly, I want to read from this book, Satiristo, because they interview the top 70, 80 comics. And I was reading it, and I was fascinated because it doesn't matter how much I know about a subject, whether it's a great scientist or anything else. And that's why you can be Einstein, you can be anybody in that world. You need somebody, and you need to be able to listen to something that can supplement what you've been working on for 40 years, 30 years, all your life. And that's how great teams are formed. I was thinking about Pixar, how great they are, and how all the things we talk about. Their sense of play, the way they set up their offices, they have ping pong tables. They put the coffee shops and the restrooms together. So when you go take a piss, when you have a cup of coffee, everything is
You can take
designed
another
to
piece, and you can
play.
have another coffee.
But they keep them playing all day, so their minds can be more creative. That's why sense of play, sense of humor, childlike, childish. Big difference between those two worlds, childish and childlike. So with comedy, true comedy, and be able to take criticism, you'll have clarity. You're going to be able to find out who you are as long as you can do it. Look what I do with you, because I'm fearless. I love you, so you can't do anything to me. It's our Goethe quote. If I should choose to love you, what business
But
is
not
it
everybody's
of
like
yours?
us. And
Well, they have to be.
And I have
There has
patients
to
that
be-
I try to lighten up the parents. I had a parent a couple of days ago. I tried to lighten up the situation, and he got so uptight. And then I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to treat your child. And then 5 minutes later, he comes in and says, oh, well, I really do apologize. I was too tough. And you're a great guy, and this and that. And it's just, but I went through a lot, and I took a risk to get him to lighten up. But not everybody does that, because people say, you know what? Why would I put an effort with a stranger?
My darling.
Why would I put an effort with a girl that she's not responding to me? Why would I put an effort with a girl that comes in the first date and she looks like excuse me,
A slob.
like a street whore, which this is the worst thing. When you meet a woman, you don't need to know everything. It's the art of seduction. It's all you need is her scent and her eyes. So if you go into a date, and I know we talked about this before, and the woman comes in completely with short skirts, short this, short that, you're thinking, it's a dime a dozen of them.
Well, there's nothing left for the imagination.
Nothing.
I've had girls walk into a room after I go out on a first date. Now, this may sound a little naive, which I am, in certain areas.
You're naive, I love you.
Yeah, no, I am. And I am. I know that sounds bizarre, but I am. And you know, it's the old joke. Well, you took her out to a really nice, expensive meal. You deserve to get fucked. I never thought that way. I know that even sounds weird in today's world. But I don't think that way, because what about my feelings? What about my emotions? I've had girls where I thought, oh, this was going to be just a little interlude. No, and then I got emotionally attached to them. So I learned, and you should know this about me, Dimitri, and I have a feeling, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about you, because you're a little more feisty than I am, but I took it to heart that girls would come up to me a year, 5 years later, and say, Daryl, I really liked you. I really cared about you, and I crushed them. And I didn't know that, but it bothered me. And I like that it bothered me. And I will always like that I do not like hurting people. And you know, as a professional, a healer, as a doctor, you don't like hurting people.
Nope.
You are very exact and a great doctor, because remember we talked about the dentist that didn't clean as a child?
Yeah, and then you have all these issues.
Exactly, properly, because he wanted us to come back. So no, there in every profession, in life itself, there are people that are just, you know, pieces of shit. There's no other way to say it, but I'm not gonna give up. How are you gonna give up on love? And even marriage, it's a stupid contract. Look, in California with all the laws, do you know how many hundreds, and I mean hundreds of men, because I was surrounded by money in the Palisades and Brentwood and Bel Air and all these places, that they would not get divorced because they wouldn't give them half. So they lived these horrible lives in prison, whether they lived in the same house.
That'd be miserable, yeah.
You know this better than anybody.
I know a lot. I have a lot of friends like that. But to my fault, and let's go to my mistakes, my personality, your personality, because in some ways you're the same. I've missed opportunities with gorgeous, beautiful women, deep women with a lot of culture, and their thing was, I would love to be in a relationship with you, but you look like you're a player. You look like, you know, you walk into a room and you talk to everybody. And a couple nights ago, we were at Georgios and we had the same experience.
I saw it.
And we talked to these women, which we had nothing, we had no agenda, but
they were young girls and came up to us.
Yes, but it's curious, but I can miss out on a beautiful girl that she loves me and respects me because she can be present on this experience.
She thinks you're a player.
And I'm not. It's just that our personality, we attract, and we just want to be with fun people, and we want to laugh, and we'll make comments, so you just can't have it all.
Okay, so that's an interesting dilemma, that you can be too charming, too dapper, too well-dressed, too this and that can be very intimidating to a lot of women. So now, because of the way your exterior looks, you attract that kind that is looking for the cash, for the...
And it's the same thing with women, like beautiful models. And in my life, there were girls that were taller than me, and the woman that I see right now, she's the next supermodel. And they would say, nobody would talk to us. But guys like me and you were fearless, and we talked to them.
Right.
And would be in a relationship with them.
Right.
So it just goes both ways.
Yeah, but it's all, you know why we're fearless? Because of our sense of play, sense of humor. You had that before we started, you know,
and
having these conversations.
We are fearless.
We are fearless because, remember, humor is the absence of fear. If you walk up and a girl says to you, you're not my type, and you respond, well, I'm not even my own type, you have prepared the situation. You have deflected, deferred, diffused the bomb. You know, she can tell, whoa, that's going to change her because she's putting something on me. You're not my type. And most guys, like you said, they're going to be offended. They're going to be crushed. Fuck you. They're going to come out in this harsh, cruel, cold world that we're developing.
Yeah, but these are
And self-absorbed guys and
insecure
self-absorbed women. Well, what do you think? Think of the term selfie. Rain, I said, Rain, because she's much younger than me, I said, put that phone down. And she does. I said, and I've done this with, you've seen me daily.
Stop the fucking selfies, yeah.
All these people, I will not go out to dinner and have people on their phone with me. You go out to dinner with me, male or female, you better I had 4 male attorneys. They said, Daryl, we love you, like they used to take me out golfing. I drive to the cart and drink because I don't play golf. But they wanted to have me for the conversation and the bullshit and the drinking and fun. And I said, yeah, fine. Well, we all went to lunch afterwards. They said, come on, we'll go to the club and get you lunch. And we're sitting there, and all 4 of them on their phone. And I said, guys, this is your lunch break, right? You're not working right now. Those aren't work-related calls? No. Well, then, I'm out of here. Do your business. I didn't come to sit and stare at the ceiling because I don't have a cell phone.
So disrespectful.
It's insane. So we've created, that's just one story of what technology, equipment, the social media, all this stuff that is doing everything we're talking about, programming and training.
It's not the social media, it's the people that accept that. Like when you go out to a first date with a woman, you never put your phone on the table. You turn off your phone, you put it on silence mode, put it in your pocket, and you look at her eyes and listen to her.
Well, my God, but whatever you want to call social media, they're afraid to miss a text, miss a phone call, miss a this, miss a that. And then if you don't respond to them right away, why didn't they respond to me?
Yeah, exactly.
So it breeds anxiety, insecurity, anxiety. It's insane. I mean, they have to take a look at their world they're living in. They can't be that stupid. And they're not. I have so many young friends.
Talk to Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name is. It's all calculated.
Well, they all are.
They train us, they affect us.
They know how to program us.
They give us the most amazing propaganda through our news, through our Instagram, through the Apple News.
They know every psychology. It's like advertising. Yeah. Advertising, everything is designed to manipulate, control us, direct us. So people have to. I'm not doing this show because I don't believe people can change. People change anyhow, but my other thing, I'm not afraid of change. Everybody said, well, you're older, you're afraid of change. No, I'm not afraid of change as long as it's for the better. And then it's up to each individual to see how this is affecting their life. So if we can reach young men, and I have, my friends, as I told you, I have many friends under 30. I have many friends in their 30s.
I have many young men in New York, in LA, in the clubs and the places I go.
Right, exactly.
They come and reach out to me and they say, when I grow up, I want to be like you. And I say,
there you go.
You want to behave. And a couple months ago, at Valentine's Day at Cipriani, there was this young couple, very handsome young man, and he was the only guy that was wearing a suit. And his girlfriend was like very pretty, very down to earth. And I looked at him and I said, if I was your father, I would be very proud. But you're so up to date, wearing a suit and respecting. And then at the end of the night, when they were leaving, he came in and sat on my table and says, thank you so much for saying that. And this is how my family raised me, and this is how I'm going to be. And this was like so rare. This is so rare.
I rest your case. I rest his case. And I'm telling you, that story alone should sustain you. If I and I do it all the time, when I meet great people of a certain age, a younger age, or I meet even younger, I meet their mothers and fathers and I see well-mannered, disciplined kids, I will go out of my way. And the time we go to Giorgio's and we go to our restaurants, especially in that group, and I see where they don't have to because they have money, well-behaved, no. I will go up to them and I said, I want to tell you something. You must be great parents. your children made a beautiful evening for us. We were sitting next to you. They weren't loud, they were mannerly, no. So I will go out on my way to compliment them. And so that story is very important, especially in that environment at Cipriani's, that he would come up.
And in New York too, I have so many young, every time I go with my girlfriend or with my friends, I always end up in a group late at night, outside, smoking cigarettes of young boys.
Of course, smoking cigarettes.
Successful, and they're all, it's like, I'm not saying they see me as their mentor, but deep inside, they want to be that man. They want to be the man that's respectful to their girls. They want to be that man that dresses up. They want to be that man that has a style, regardless how much money he has or she has.
They want to be James Bond. At least they used to want to be James. Yes. But you know what? You shouldn't be afraid to say a mentor, because you know what? You hit it. There are no mentors. Who's our mentor? Epstein? Trump? Are these our mentors? Who? The athletes? No. Forget it. No. Very few mentors. Men don't have it. I remember what was his name? Robert Blythe? All these people that talked about mentors. That's why I've been watching these podcasts once I delved into that world. Jordan Peterson, Gad, whatever his name is, there's many great people. Sam Harris, I can't remember all their names. My fellow podcasters, they're mentors, and they're speaking a lot of stuff.
So I would, and I've never done this, with all due respect to you, I would like us to end this show by saying
sure
that Rico and I, we would like to start with a group of 10 young men, and that you can reach us through Instagram, and we would love to mentor you.
I would happily do that. I mean, the fact that you brought that up, I mean, I don't know what will happen with this podcast, but I can't believe we're actually having this conversation.
No, we have to mentor because we're talking about these. We have the ideas, we have the lifestyle, we have the culture, which is the most important thing. So when men like us, in our age, we're getting closer and closer to go closer to God, what matters at the end of the day is our glory and what we can give to the new generations. It's not how much money we have because we cannot take it with us. It's not how many women we slept with because they're not coming with us. But what will stay into our souls in an eternity is if we can give our wisdom, our love for life, our sophistication. If we can tell these young men the mistakes we made so they cannot make the same mistakes, that will be the ultimate arrivederci for me.
Well, it's so funny. I never talk like that. And that's exactly what I'd like to do, what I've always wanted to do, but I don't like putting myself in that position. And here's how deep my faith goes in people being smarter than they're given credit for, because we know we have a pretty lame, stupid society. I can admit that much. But my whole thing about this comic sense and using humor, I want everybody to be their own hero. However, to do that, they would need mentors or teachers. So I think, again, coming back to why I think, who was the guy they shot? They killed the young man. They shot him in the neck on a college campus. Do you know what his name is?
Yeah, the guy that was with Trump. He had his own thing.
Yeah, but he was a religious. He also was selling good stuff. He was selling a lot of good stuff, and I don't care that he's a religious guy or he was selling God. What's wrong with that? You know what Gandhi said? God has no religion. And here's something that you just reminded me of, since we're selling comic sense and humor to survive, to be fully alive. And yeah, I'll happily come back to this mentorship and all this stuff.
Let's get 10
in
kids.
future shows.
Let's get 10 people to reach out to us
We
and
will.
we'll put them on the show.
And Rain will figure out a way to have them contact us. But God made laughter. You just made me. God made laughter good and healthy, and then gave us nothing to laugh at but one another.
Exactly. And the most amazing thing is if we can get these few kids, and you and I can go in and watch them when they're out on dates or they're interacting, and then afterwards we will look at them, grab their hand, and we'll say, "What the hell were you thinking when you said this or when you did that?"
Yeah.
And when it's just
Well,
a
like we
beauty.
did in sports. I always talk about it. Instant replay.
Yeah.
You play that, but I want them to do that for themselves. Whoever's listening, they have to go. Remember when you were a bad boy or bad girl?
I was
Go to your room.
I was
Yeah, go to your room. Even in school, this is how corny school was compared to today, where the students don't listen to the teachers.
Today there's
they
no discipline.
disrespect
There's no
them.
discipline. That's the
there's
other
no
problem.
nothing. There's no control of whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're afraid to say anything
There's
to
no
the
respect
students.
for our
Are you kidding?
educators.
We used to have to in school. You must speak or do. You had to stand in a corner for the
Absolutely.
entire class.
They'll wipe their hands off.
They take. Remember the yardstick,
Yeah,
and they'd
stick.
slap your hand. I mean, this is comedy now. It's hysterical.
But-
That's a lawsuit.
Listen, it's. I think we can change a lot of people's lives, and you figure out how to get these 10 young men, not women, 10 boys, because men are responsible of raising families, respecting women, creating the world, allowing their wives and girlfriends to succeed, because without women in this world, we men would be nothing and nowhere.
Well, here's the problem. I grew up with Henry Miller, who was a writer. I was Tony, his son. I had a lot of great people around me. Henry Miller said women should run the world. Look, every great son loves his mother. So if you think about, my mother ran not only our household, she told my dad how high to jump, how to do this. So that's why my dad spent 9 hours in the garage working. But he loved my mother. 72 years they were married. Anyhow, God made laughter good and healthy, and then gave us nothing to laugh at. And Gandhi said, God has no religion. I'd like to sell the religion of comedy. And I heard Russell Brand say that, and Bill Maher, they joked about it. But just think about comedy. I don't care what part of the world, everybody loves to laugh.
Absolutely.
And if you think of your closest friends, they're the ones that made you laugh. That's the ones you wanted to be around. And if you can make a girl laugh, you can get into her pants faster
absolutely.
than you could
Absolutely.
ever
That's what they love.
imagine.
And what I've been doing the last few years, when something tragic or major or bad happens in my life, I go literally like this. What the fuck I was thinking of? And even if there's a tragedy, an injury, a health thing, I'm like laughing. Why the hell did I do this?
Well,
And this is how we end up the night.
we drink to get inhibited, to let down our inhibitions. We smoke grass. We take every drug. It's so sad that we do all this stuff. Can't we just do it naturally?
Laugh is the biggest,
Let's
the
use,
best drug out there.
We're selling the greatest drugs.
Yep.
Comic sense, comedy, criticism, clarity. That's what will mentor our people. And now for Rain, I have to use our LLC because it's like what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Keep the change.
I don't laugh because life is easy. I laugh because I see the mind can sell you stories, then charge you rent to be free. They call it normal to panic, to worship the loudest fear. But a thought becomes a prison the moment you hold it near. So I ask one honest question, not to win, just to wake. Is this truth I'm believing, or just memory and ache? I use humor like a flashlight in a room full of certain lies. Comic sense isn't comedy, it's sight with a smile in its eyes. Critical thinking is mercy, consciousness is breath and release. If you can laugh at the story, you can finally step into peace. Sometimes I'm quiet and listening to a child asking, is love safe? I don't fix him with answers, I stay and give him space. So laugh, not to escape, but to see what's always been true. Nothing real is against you, and life is quietly loving you. Does my smile confuse you, or remind you you're here? Does my smile confuse you, or